Welcome to Workflow Approval for XPages. Today we're going to take a look at installing the Workflow Approval demo to your server, initializing the demo application with the default settings, and then examine some of the profile application documents and the administrative settings for this application. So let's get started. When you download the zip file from our website and you unzip it to your local drive, you'll find these 5 databases involved there. The template file, which you'll use in the future to create new application databases to be contained within Workflow Approval. The demo application database itself, the main, help, and the rules. So what we need to do at this time is open each of these databases and replicate them to the server. Okay, now I've done that, and I've added them to a working set called dev WFS demo. You can add them to whatever you wish. I find creating these working sets much easier to keep track of things. Anyway, here are the 4 databases replicated to the server development. If we look at the application, the access control, we find that it's set to default of manager, delete documents, and the role WFS admin. Of course, that's pretty dangerous to have it set at that level. So I'll show you how we're going to change that in a couple minutes. This database here is the actual demo application. It contains some forms, some views of the data, but notice that there's no XPages and no custom controls in there. This is strictly a notes database and will hold the data for the demo application. As you develop new applications within Workflow Approval, you will create new databases from the template that look like this to retain just the data. The approval main is pretty much what it says. It's the main database that controls the whole application. Again, ACL at the moment is set wide open, and we'll change that in a moment. In here, there are some views and forms that are used to control how applications respond and work. But notice now we have some XPages and we have custom controls. There are 3 XPages of main interest to us in the application: the start page, the main page, and the input page. The other ones are here, and we may use them depending on what we're going to be doing. My main design strategy is to keep as much of the design in custom controls and then just move them and consolidate them into XPages dynamically, and I'll show you how we do that in a while as well. So there's some code in here, number of agents that will run on the server. There's also some script libraries, number of JavaScript libraries, and number of Lotus script libraries that are contained in here and basically are the running of the whole operation. And also a number of Java beans. These beans are used throughout the application, and in a later session we'll get into what they do and how they work. In addition to these two databases, we have a help database, and in this help database there are basically 2 types of documents. There's a tooltip document. This contains all of the tooltips, the text for all of the tooltips that are in the application, and I'll show you that later as well. And there's also extensive user information, user help, that you can add to as you require it. And of course then the views to be able to display that information to the end user. And finally, there's the rule database, and in this case there's only one rule, and it's for the demo, but you can create additional ones in this database for your application. And so let's take a look at how we are going to get this thing set up and get it workable. As I've already noted, the ACLs are wide open, and we've also set up some default users in the application, and we'll need to change them to people that will work for you. So let's open up from the main database the XPage setup demo. So I'm going to just switch to my browser and open the setup demo XPage. Okay, here we are in my browser, and this is the setup page. Notice here to begin with that the test user 1, it defaults to the person who opens this page, which is me in this case, would be you if you're doing this on your server. I'm going to set up 2 additional test users, and I create a group of test users just to be able to not bother other people. And so there we are with that. We need a couple pieces of additional information. How the user is going to access the database if they come in through notes. This is used in creating the link from the notification messages, and what it will be if they come in from the web browser. Because I'm using this internally, I'm going to use an IP address, but you would probably have your organizational domain name in there. If you have a specific notes administrative group, you can add that in here as well. That will get added into the ACL. And now I just click on set up the demo, and there it is, finished. Doesn't take very long. Okay, I just clicked on the complete on that screen, and we open now the workflow approval application itself, and we come to this, which is a landing page, which not very pretty, but you can make it as pretty as you want it and include whatever information you want on there, like a corporate announcement, database, or whatever works for you. Over here we see it says ask to select an application. In this case, because I have the role WFS admin, I see the admin application in the drop-down. Normal users would not see that. They would just see the demo and any other applications that might be in there. I'm going to go into the admin application, and we see here the profile documents. Now here's the profiles for the demo application. You notice that there's 6 of them, and they're populated with the names that we set into the setup. The basic has 3 approvers in the list. The automation has none. They'll be assigned dynamically at runtime. The dynamic has 1 default user, but will get additional users assigned to it, as will the major expenditure. The manual will not automatically get any approvers assigned to it. The user will select them, and then the parallel has these 3 approvers. If we open a profile, again, you will see that there are lots of tooltips that explain what each field does and what the importance of it is. The profile document has over 100 fields in it that are settings to control how the document will respond. I'm going to return to the view. Now let's take a look at the applications. If I open the admin application, you'll see the replica IDs for the rule database, the help database, and in this case the application and the main database are replica IDs are the same because they're not truly an application in the same sense. And we see as well what XPage gets open for viewing, what XPage gets open for CRUD, stands for create, read, update, and delete. What's the default, or what navigator needs to be opened, and what is the default view. In addition, we can specify an additional administrator just for the administrative functions, and so I've created WFS Admin Manager just to show you that what we can do there. I'm going to go back over and take a look at the demo, and here it's linked to the main database that we were just looking at by that replica. It has its own replica ID, is that. The help and the rule replica IDs are the same as were in the admin, and in most cases you probably would keep them the same, though you can make different databases to point to if you want. The application prefix in this case is a D. Every document that gets created gets a unique identifier assigned to it, which is made up by whatever this prefix is, followed by the last 2 digits of the year, followed by a dash, and a 5-digit numeric value, sequential numeric value. Again, we're going to open the same main input. Now we're going to open the demo navigator. The default view will be something called demo default view, and we've created another role, the demo manager. If I go and take a look at the tooltip help, here's all of the tooltips that we see at various times, and you can create additional tooltips and use them for yourself. In here is the user help for the admin, a considerable amount of online direct help as you go through it, and then for the demo here, I'm going to, in a future session, create a vacation request, and so here is the starting point for some user. Then I'm going to take a look at the demo rules, and here we see that they're populated with values from what we did in the setup. If I look at the finance, edit it, I really want to change this to accounting because it needs to be that. We're saying the departmental limit is $5,000, and so that if a request is for under $5,000, then it will be routed to myself, then test user 1. If it's over $5,000, it will go to myself, to test user 1, and test user 2. You can also specify people to be notified as this goes through the process. So I'm going to submit that. And you notice that the other ones are, there are different limits and different approvers. If we go to the demo, it opens up a different navigator. Because I'm the manager, I can see some additional items here. The average user will not see this manager view. But there's no data in here yet, and that's what we're going to do in our next session. So I hope that this gets you started and you started to see what workflow approval can do. And in our next session, we'll create some approval document and work them through the approval process. So I hope that you'll join me in that one and follow on through as we build your experience with workflow systems.